Hi, everyone, and welcome to Let's Get Visible, a podcast for business owners helping them to grow, have a sustainable business, and get more visibility online. I'm Dorz Brown, and I'll be bringing you SEO and digital marketing tips, as well as interviews and conversations with other business owners. So, let's get started. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another solo episode on the Let's Get Visible podcast. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I sent out an Ask Me Anything request, allowing the audience to ask me some questions that I can outline in today's solo episode. So I'm going to give it my best shot. Had quite a few good questions coming through, which I've added to the list. I also had a clever cookie tell me that why don't you just reverse the questions that you ask your guests, Dorz, and ask them of yourself? We'd love to learn more about you and your business and how it started. So I'm going to do my very best today to share all of that information with you on this special version of the Let's Get Visible podcast, which is an AMA Ask Me Anything. So let's kick off with the first question that I usually ask my guests, which is take us back to when you first launched your business. How did it begin and was it planned? It definitely was not planned. I launched my business back in 2017, but to backtrack a little bit before then, and I guess how I started in digital marketing to begin with, which was all the way back in 2012. So at the time I was working in corporate land in the training and compliance field in financial services and had my second child. And whilst I was on maternity leave, I decided it would be a great idea to learn how to build and launch my very own website. So I wanted to start an online business. I wanted to have a side hustle because at this point I had 2 kids and I didn't necessarily want to go back to a 9-to-5 job because I knew it was going to be quite difficult trying to juggle all the things. And so whilst I was on maternity leave, completely sleep deprived by a newborn baby, I taught myself how to code and launched my very first website. And was super excited because it had taken me so long, like many, many months to put the content together, find the right images, obviously learn how to code. Way back then, there was no such thing as Shopify or Wix or any of those types of platforms. So it was really starting from scratch. And I was super excited to press launch after having spent all that time building and developing this new side hustle that was going to help me leave my corporate life. But when I pressed launch, unfortunately, I didn't get a full stream of sales or clients coming through. Instead, there were crickets and a complete entire orchestra of crickets. I had no idea about the world of digital marketing or SEO or search engine optimization. And that basically led me into the path and into the industry that I am today. So after not having success with my own online store and business, I ended up landing an entry-level position with a digital marketing agency. And way back in 2012, it was really not normal to have work or to work for an agency that was fully distributed and remote. But luckily for me, it was. So I ended up handing in my notice with the corporate job, which I absolutely hated anyway, and ended up in an entry-level position with an agency and basically learned all about search engine optimization and digital marketing from the ground up. Fast forward 5 years, there was, some progress and growth within that organization. I went from entry level into a team leading role and was looking after teams both here in Australia as well as in the US. Unfortunately, they closed down all of a sudden without any notice. Went to work on the Friday and woke up on a Monday morning to an email that basically said the company had gone into receivership and you are now unemployed. And so at the time, it was incredibly stressful and didn't have a lot sort of saved in the bank account to be able to go and launch my own business. But I just thought at that particular time in my life and that age, I had just had enough of working for other companies and organizations and just really wanted to launch my own business, which was when Doreen Brown Consulting came to life. And I must say that, yes, again, it wasn't planned. I found the first 6 to 12 months super tricky running a business because it's very different doing your craft and doing the thing versus now having to market yourself and market your own business. And so that first 6 to 12 months was really, really challenging, trying to find my place in the world, trying to do all the things in my business. And 7 years later, obviously very grateful that I decided to take the plunge. But it wasn't without its ups and downs. It was most definitely, a massive roller coaster. And many times I have felt like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if I'm cut out for this and whether I should just go and get a job. But lo and behold, there is nothing else I would rather be doing than running my own business and doing things my way, being able to now choose and select the type of clients that I work with, the type of businesses that I surround myself with, and I am incredibly grateful every single day I wake up and just say, wow, like you've really made this happen, and just super proud of Let's Get Visible, which is the brand that it is today. What has been my biggest business lesson? That's a really good one. I think the biggest business lesson for me has been to not try and follow someone else's plan or someone else's way of doing business. One of the things that I've learned is that I tend to really attract the right type of clients and the right type of people in my life when I'm just being myself and I'm not trying to be something that I'm not, or trying to be a clone of someone else because they might be in a similar industry and they're doing incredibly well. And I'm feeling like a bit of that imposter syndrome and I need to change and update to be something that I'm not. So I've really come back to who it is that I am as a human, as a person, as a business owner, as a mom, as of all the things. And yes, just really staying true to that vision and to that goal. Over the 7 years of business, I've had so many people ask me and tell me, why aren't you scaling into a big agency and going international and having different locations and doing all the things? And that is just never been my vision. So I actually enjoy my craft. I love working with people, whether that's one-on-one in a coaching capacity or whether that's a done for you service. My goal is always to be super hands-on with my clients, with my campaigns and with those accounts. I always want to know what's happening, and that's probably a control thing. But I don't work with a lot of clients every single month. I've got my close group of clients that I work with, and I'm super happy with that. And that's what I envision and continue to do. Definitely, there's opportunities and ways to grow and ways to scale, but I am doing that through other means and not necessarily through building a multi-person agency. So definitely the biggest business lesson is a bit of a mouthful, but is to stay true to your why, to your core, exactly what it is that you want to do. And don't compare yourself so much to everyone else in your industry and what's happening out there, because what they're doing is not necessarily the best fit for you and for your business. The next question was, what would you tell the version of you that started your business from where you are now? What I would tell that person is it's going to happen. I think within the first 6 to 12 months, you feel like you're never, ever going to run and have a successful business where you're going to get a constant new business and get new clients. And it feels at the beginning just really, really scary. But just to reassure myself back then and to let me know that it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight, but with time and with the work that you do, and through the visibility work that you do and through word of mouth, that your business is going to grow, and it's going to grow in all the right ways. So one of the things very early on in business that I did as well was definitely say yes to things that I should have said no to, but I just did not have the experience and probably the maturity at the time to make those decisions and to make, good decisions. So now I am definitely more particular with the types of clients that I work with, the types of people that I surround myself with, and there's definitely lots of lessons that I've learned over the 7 years that I'm completely grateful for. I'm grateful for every single experience that I've had, every single business, every single person that has come into and out of my life during that time. But it's definitely taught me about the things I do want and don't want in both my business and in my life. But yes, if I was to go back and talk to myself 7 years ago, I would definitely say, Dorz, don't give up. It is going to take time. It doesn't happen overnight, but once it does happen, it's going to definitely be very rewarding. And even though there's ups and downs, overall, you're going to enjoy the journey as well. The next question is, what is your genius and what impact or change do you make with your clients? Which is a great question. So as mentioned, I do both one-to-one coaching and consulting as well as done for you. And so my genius is really translating things that are super technical and difficult and really simplifying it. One of the other things I do as well is I run workshops and training both online and in person. And I know way back when I started and launched that, first website back in 2012, I had absolutely no idea. I was sitting there trying to Google, what is search engine optimization? And instead of actually learning the information, I was trying to memorize it. So as you can imagine, that didn't work out well. And so my genius now is, after having 12 plus years of experience specifically in digital marketing and SEO, is being able to look at really complicated things, breaking them down for business owners and really simplifying it. Not to say that it's easy, because simple doesn't equal easy, but just making it, breaking it down into really understandable chunks, if that's even a word, and just supporting my clients with visibility and obviously, staying ahead and staying on top of all of the things that are currently happening in our space. And definitely the landscape is changing, which I'm going to touch on definitely in this podcast episode as well. One of the other questions was, what's been your most difficult campaign? And this is a really good question. I actually spent some time thinking about this one. And I think the biggest or most difficult campaign was my own. So working on my own visibility while trying to, run my business, work, with my clients, run my coaching sessions, run my workshops. I think finding time to help my business get visible has been the trickiest thing. And on the flip side, it's good because I have a great understanding of my business, my ethos, and what it is that it stands for. But because you are working with other clients, you do tend to put their needs before your own business needs. And that's something that I'm consciously working on this year, which is why, again, I've decided to relaunch the podcast, because it's one of those aspects in my business that I absolutely love, apart from workshops and coaching as well. They're my favorite things, being able to connect with people, share a message, provide some education, and hopefully give someone some inspiration, along the way as well. But yes, definitely finding time for my own business and making time for my own business and my own marketing has been the trickiest and most difficult thing to do, because I never prioritize myself, which is the story of my life. How have you been able to get your message more visible online or offline? This is one of the other questions that I usually ask my guests as well. So most definitely search engine optimization. Within the first 6 to 12 months of launching my business, I would say that Google Business, which was formerly known as Google My Business, was definitely one of the things that helped me to elevate my visibility. I launched my business at a time when it felt like every second person was a digital marketing agency or consultant. And so it was really important for me, again, to stay true to who I was, which is why I launched the Let's Get Visible video. If you haven't seen it, definitely jump onto YouTube, and it's the intro video. So I was definitely, in my leotards, bouncing around, play on words. Let's Get Visible is from the Olivia Newton-John song, Let's Get Physical. And so just keeping some of that, personality and I guess idea with my branding and those types of things, which has definitely evolved with time. Yes, I think that was a really big part of helping me get visible within the early days and stages of my business. And from an offline perspective, I would attend quite a few different networking events and just other type of events, that were either in Wollongong or in Sydney, to try and meet new people and to try and collaborate with other business owners as well. I think that was definitely a way that I was able to expand my visibility both online and offline. And of course, in 2020, when this podcast was launched, I definitely saw it as an amazing and fun opportunity to be able to collaborate with more business owners. And obviously, the more that you're able to collaborate with others, then you're just continuously expanding your own audience, because their audience becomes your audience as well. So the podcast has definitely been something that's allowed me to expand that visibility above and beyond the first sort of 6 to 12 months in my business. In hindsight, is there anything you would do differently, and why? Another question I ask my guests. So in hindsight, this is a tricky one, because definitely don't have any regrets. But in hindsight, I think what I would do differently again is just try and keep the momentum going. I think many a times through business, I felt like I was going to give up, and so I would stop with the momentum, stop with the consistency. So if I was to, go back and do it again, I would make sure to prioritize my business, prioritize my own marketing, and be really, really consistent. So instead of taking the foot off the accelerator, obviously taking time and not, burning out again, because that was something that definitely did happen. But I think just remaining consistent, going back to my why, the whole reason why I started my business, which was to make digital marketing accessible to everyone, really, not just to those who had lots of money and could invest in really expensive campaigns. My goal has always been to make it accessible. So yes, in hindsight, just the momentum, just to keep going. And it's not always easy, and it can be tricky when you're a solo business owner and there isn't anyone encouraging you on a regular daily basis to say, hey, Dorz, you've just got to keep this going. That you be that person for you, so that, you can end up having a sustainable business, which is, again, one of my goals in helping other business owners as well. One of the other questions is, what's one key tip or strategy that you can share with business owners that can help them in their own business? And I think this is a really timely one. We are in a position where, as we know, AI, artificial intelligence, has become a major talking topic for most people. I don't think it matters what industry you're in. AI is definitely something that everyone is talking about. And we need to try and really get in front of this, particularly as business owners. I don't think AI is going to be something that will replace us, but I do think that things are definitely changing. And when you're looking at your own visibility strategy, looking at your own tactics, I think the way that we have traditionally been doing things like search engine optimization or SEO is going to change. Google at the moment is going through its own updates and changes, as it does on a regular basis all the time, but it's really taking quite a different direction at the moment. It's testing lots of different additions, including an AI component. And what that means is we need to be a little bit more clever with the way in which we're creating strategies. And again, those tactics, because traditional ways of just going and building links or trying to write the blogs or doing those types of things is just not going to be enough anymore. So we really need to be thinking outside of the box when it comes to our SEO and really taking on that holistic approach. And to anyone who has been to my online or offline workshops, one of the things I always have said is I don't like the acronym SEO. And the reason I say that is because we haven't been optimizing for search engines for a very, very long time. And the acronym actually stands for search engine optimization, but we have not been optimizing for search engines. We're optimizing for humans. People are really looking to connect with the right answers to their questions or to their problems. And we're going to have to come up with some really creative ways in order to do that. And really thinking outside of the box. It's not just about keywords. It's not just about doubling or tripling your traffic. It's really looking at ways that you can leverage what is already there and do it in a way that's really dynamic and something that's going to be long lasting. So whenever I work with my clients, and again, going back to what my genius is, I always have a look at it from a holistic perspective. Again, it's not just about, okay, what keywords can we get on page one, position one, because Google search isn't operating that way. It hasn't operated that way for a really, really long time. So definitely thinking outside the box. What are some of the things that you enjoy doing in your business? What are some of the things that you can do to, perhaps leverage some of your collaborations that you already have, maybe with other businesses or business owners? And looking at it from a more holistic perspective, so that no matter what happens on Google or some of the other search engines or platforms, is that you have a means of being able to get visible and stay visible. It doesn't matter what algorithm updates happen, that you can maintain and have that, sustainable business. So if you do have any questions about that and you want to take a deeper dive into the way in which I'm working with my clients and developing those out of the box strategies, and again, I don't even use the word necessarily SEO, it's more about increasing online visibility and doing that in a really dynamic and creative way. If you want to learn more about that, then please head to my website, which is letsgetvisible.com.au, and I'd be more than happy to schedule, one of those calls and do a bit of a roadmap and to assist you with that, because it's definitely changing. And I don't even know that the acronym of SEO is going to be around much longer, because again, we're not optimizing for search engines. We're actually optimizing for humans and making that connection online. All right, guys, well, that wraps up question time. It wraps up the Ask Me Anything. Thanks again to everyone who contributed a question and, flipping the ones that I usually ask my guests. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So it's been super fun being able to share a little bit more about me, my business, my genius, and a few tips and things to assist you as well with your online visibility. It's been such a fun season. I have interviewed the most amazing people, and I'm just so grateful that you've tuned in and love your support. Definitely leave us a review, some feedback, and follow us on all the major platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're all over all of them.
Thanks for giving this show a listen. If you want to learn more about me or my services, please jump on over to letsgetvisible.com.au, where you'll find show notes and links to my social media profiles so you can connect there as well. Okay, well, that's a wrap for another episode. So I'll join you next time on the Let's Get Visible podcast. You know, man.